Hello, everybody, and welcome to the jungle. The Cross-County Conference Championship on the line tonight as the Ansonia Tigers host the Covington Buccaneers. Ansonia entering tonight's game at 17-2. Covington at 12-7. Nick Hahn joining me tonight. And Nick, should be a great matchup. For the first time since 1999, there will be an outright champion of the Cross-County Conference.
And it's good for both teams because the game all comes down to tonight, and they'll know who's the best tonight. Ansonia comes in off a win against Houston, and Covington's had 10 days off, so it'll be interesting to see how they come out of the gates and play tonight.
Not only a win over Houston, but probably the biggest win of the season for the Tigers to this point, a 5-point win down at National Trail.
Ansonia beat National Trail, and if you look at the box scores, McGuinty and Beck accounted for most of our points. And if you look at the Covington National Trail game, McGuinty didn't play, and Covington barely won that game, so we'll see how that factors in tonight's game.
A great JV game here. Covington coming from behind to win 37-34, the final score. Getting back to this Cross-County Conference Championship game, it takes me back 21 years to 1983. In this same gym, Ansonia had to battle National Trail for the league championship. Trail comes away with a win and claims the outright championship. Ansonia would like to kind of reverse those fortunes tonight.
Being at school with the kids all the time, I know this is what they've been talking about all day. It's not like, oh, I got a big chemistry test today. It was, okay, we got to beat Covington tonight. We had an impromptu pep assembly today. The boys are fired up, and I'm sure Covington will be the same way coming out.
Well, one thing you can guarantee, this has tournament atmosphere written all over it tonight, and it's going to help both of these squads going into the postseason.
That's when Ansonia plays this Saturday against Miami Valley down at UD Arena, and I know they love nothing more to come in here and beat Covington, and they'll go down to UD and hand it to Miami Valley.
Once again tonight, the Cross-County Championship, Cross-County Conference Championship on the line as the Ansonia Tigers tangle with the Covington Buccaneers. Nick and I will be back with the starting lineups as well as the tip-off in just a moment. And welcome back, everybody, to the Cross-County Conference Championship game. The Covington Bucks visiting the Ansonia Tigers. Let's run down the starting lineup here tonight. First off, for the visitors from Covington, number 15, a 5'8" senior, Dusty Rhodes. Gene Studebaker, a 6'1" freshman, is wearing number 11. Darren Rhodes, number 20, a 6-foot sophomore. Matt McCord, number 32, a 6'3" senior. And Dusty Kimmel, a 6'4" sophomore, is wearing number 42.
McCord from Covington is the one you really got to watch out for. He's averaging around 17 points a game. The starting lineup for Ansonia. At guard will be a 5'9" junior, number 12, Kevin Herod. At guard, a 5'11" senior, number 10, Greg Wentworth. The small forward is 6' junior, number 20, Jack Steinke. The power forward for tonight will be 6'1" senior, number 44, Jason Bargy. And the big guy in the middle is 6'5" junior, number 50, Adam Bargy.
Well, Nick, should be a great basketball game tonight here. The Cross-County Conference Championship on the line. And boy, when we said a tournament atmosphere, that may have been an understatement.
It's hard to hear yourself thinking here, it's so loud.
This reminds me of a few weeks ago over at the Versailles-St. Henry game, and boy, that very similar in the importance of that game. Both teams were 5-0 at the time, and boy, a one-point finish. If we have that type of a finish here tonight, boy, I'd be happy.
Crowd's going to go crazy with that kind of finish. Well, here for the opening tip, it'll be Dusty Kimmel going up against Jack Steinke.
Keep that so I can see it too, because that's my only lineup card.
The tip's up and we're underway, and Jack Steinke comes away with it and gets it out to Kevin Herod. Herod pushes up across half court to Jason Bargy, back to Kevin Herod. In between the circles, driving into the lane, out to Greg Wentworth, takes a look at the three, denies it, over to Jack Steinke, top of the key, out to Greg Wentworth on the wing, he takes the three, rims out, the rebound is to Rhodes.
And one thing, Greg Wentworth has struggled with the three over the past couple of 2 or 3 ball games for Ansonia.
Yes, he has. That's Studebaker, down to McCord, and
it's going to be an offensive foul.
Offensive foul, yes, you are correct.
McCord picking up that foul.
But they didn't charge him with the foul.
That violation.
That's a violation. That's Jason Bargy with it, looking inside Adam Bargy, out to Herod, over to Wentworth.
Ansonia with a size advantage with Adam Bargy at 6'5". Actually, I think he's closer to 6'6".
Herod with it now, setting up the offense. Being guarded by Dusty Rhodes, over to Wentworth, and that's Herod, over to Adam Bargy, to Steinke. Greg Wentworth for three. Rims out. Man, that was close by Greg Wentworth.
Both of his three-point attempts have been in and popped back out.
42, that's Dusty Kimmel, puts in the first points of the night. Steinke to Herod. To Wentworth, inside Adam Bargy. Back out to Wentworth. Inside again to Adam Bargy, drives baseline. Looking for someone to pass it to. He's getting pushed around. That's Herod for three. It rattles out. The rebound is to McCord. He pushes it up across half court. Here come the Buccaneers. McCord puts it up. It's good by Matt McCord. And Ansonia's going to call a timeout.
Well, one thing it looks, Nick, that Covington is going to do is force Ansonia to beat him with a three-point shot. With 6:06 remaining, a timeout on the floor. Covington leading Ansonia 4-0.
Well, Ansonia takes possession after the timeout. Kevin Herod pushed across half court. Greg Wentworth at the wing. Gives it to Jack Steinke. Steinke drives the lane, and he's going to be whistled for traveling. The Buccaneers have come out fired up, and Ansonia fans do not agree with that traveling call.
Well, Chad Kramer wanting maybe a little contact there, and maybe has a little bit of a point, but in this type of a game, you're going to see a little more of the officials letting them play.
A lot of pushing and shoving going out there. That's Rhodes, down to McCord. Gets it back to Dusty Rhodes. He drives. Over to, that's Darren Rhodes, over to Dusty Rhodes. In between the circles, Rhodes to Studebaker. Inside to Kimmel. Back out for three. That's Rhodes. It rattles around, and the whistle on the foul is called on Jason Bargy. That's his first and the team's first.
And it'll be a common foul, so Covington will put it in play underneath. They say it was on the rebound, not the putback.
And for the Tigers, Craig Fosnaugh checks in, replacing Jason Bargy. Dusty Rhodes will put it into play for Covington. Gives it outside to Darren Rhodes. And he dribbles it off his foot. And
well, that should have been over and
sure,
back.
Mark, but I think that should have been over and back.
It was off of the foot, no question.
But I think it was
the
off the
official thought
player's foot. And interception by Craig Fosnaugh. He gives it out to Wentworth, to Herod. He drives baseline, takes it back out to Wentworth. Wentworth looks for the three. Now Fosnaugh will take the three. Left-hander makes the three. That puts Ansonia on the board, and the score is now 4-3 with 4.5 minutes left to go. Studebaker looking inside for Kimmel, puts it back out to Darren Rhodes. Inside to Kimmel. Back out to Dusty Rhodes for three. No good. It is rebound by Kimmel, and he puts it out to Dusty Rhodes.
That's the one thing about the three-point shots is simply the fact that if you try to get a body with the matchup zone, if everybody was underneath and you tried to get a body on Covington players, it's a long rebound.
Yes.
And usually the offensive team gets those.
Darren Rhodes takes a three, it rims out, and the rebound is to Craig Fosna. He quickly pushes it across half court, gives it over to Kevin Herod. Herod with it, drives into the lane. It's deflected off a Covington player. That's all. They're going to say it was deflected off Gene Studebaker. Tony Kessers checks in for the Tigers, and he'll replace senior Greg Wentworth.
One thing I would probably make a prediction this game, if it is in the 50s, I will be surprised.
A little bit more. Inside Adam Bargy, and it's tipped away. He can't catch it. And McCord comes away with it, pushes across half court. And that's Dusty Rhodes with it. Over to Studebaker. Drives into the lane, he puts it up, rims out. The rebound is to Tony Kesters, and he gives it to Fosna, who gives it to Herod. Herod across half court. Over to Fosna, back to Herod. Back to Fosna. Over to Kesters inside Adam Bargy, but it tips away. Kevin Herod looked for a shot, fumbled around. Fosna for three, and it rims out. And Adam Bargy with the rebound, and he puts it up, and it rims out, and the rebound is to Matt McCord. McCord across half court, he gives it to Kimmel. And Kimmel, he might have gotten away with the charge there, I don't know.
Charge is a tough call to make.
It is. And they're going to call a foul on Adam Bargy reaching over the back. That's Adam's first and the team's second.
4-3 is the score. 2:51 remains. And like I said, it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Darren Rhodes checks it in, gives it to McCord. He drives into the lane. He puts it up. It's blocked partially by Adam Bargy. And after the jump ball, it'll go to Ansonia. Greg Wentworth checks back in for the Tigers.
I think it goes to Covington.
I'm sorry?
I think it goes to Covington.
My bad. It did say Ansonia.
It did.
So I'm only partially wrong then.
But Ansonia controlled the opening tip, so.
Dusty Rhodes checks it in. Rhodes with it now. Over to Studebaker, inside to McCord. Back out to Darren Rhodes for three. And it's good by Darren Rhodes for three. Well, it's 7-3 with 2:22 left to go in the first action. Jason Bargy. Over to Fosna. Back to Steinke, drives baseline, puts it up. Rims out. The putback by Adam Bargy is good. That was a nice move by Adam Bargy.
Got good defensive or rebounding position and was able to get the tap in. Nice bank shot, too.
Gene Studebaker with it. Over to Darren Rhodes. Inside to Kimmel. He puts it up. Rims out. No rebounding. Studebaker gets it and tipped away by Steinke, but stolen back by Darren Rhodes. Over to Studebaker. Back to Darren Rhodes. Gene Studebaker with it. He drives into the lane. He's met by Adam Bargy, and then traveling is going to be called.
And that's what you've got to do against this zone defense, this matchup zone that Ansonia plays. I know Chad doesn't like to call it a matchup, but frankly, that's what it is. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to penetrate that zone and then get nice interior passing. And that's really what Houston did the other night.
They played a very good game. I was surprised by how well Houston played. Greg Wentworth down the corner for three. It's good.
That's big. That's a huge shot by Greg Wentworth. He struggled from three-point land, and now Ansonia, that gives the Tigers their first lead of the night.
Kind of breaks the ice for Wentworth, maybe, and it may give him a roll. And that's something the Covington fans don't want to see, as Brady Reck with it now. Over to Dusty Rhodes, inside to Kimmel. Back out to Reck, and it takes a bad bounce for Covington, and there's going to be a foul whistle on play. And it's on Dusty Kimmel. That's his first and the team's first.
Second.
First. That one was a violation.
Right. That's right.
Fosna. Over to Adam Bargy. He's playing on top of the key. That's an unusual position for him. Jack Steinke on the wing. Driving it in. Out to Wentworth. Over to Jason Bargy. He takes the jumper. It's
Looked like it was tipped.
Dusty Rhodes with it.
Under 30 seconds.
They're going to take the last shot of the quarter. And so far, it's been a lower scoring affair, 8-7. Ansonia not trying to pressure them into taking an early shot.
Well, Ansonia has the lead, so Covington is the one that has to force the issue right now. But that's something you don't see. Used to be, after so long a time, the offense had to force it if they were behind.
And there's a three put up, and it's put back in by Dusty Kimmel. So at the end of the quarter, the score is Covington 9, Ansonia 8.
Back here at Ansonia, Covington on a last-second shot at the end of the first quarter, taking a 9-8 lead with an offensive rebound, and right now Covington dominating the boards.
Interesting move by Chad Kramer, putting in Brad McEldowney. Adam Bargy into the paint, and it's deflected by McCord, but picked up by Fosnow. They got the numbers, and that goes to McEldowney.
McEldowney's going to be a great player, just a freshman.
And he plays very well. And the one thing I like about Brad is he plays with so much intensity for a young kid, and that's hard to see for some young kids to do.
Well, sometimes bringing in a player like that will spark the rest of your players because they see how active he is.
Right direct into Gene Studebaker, out to Darren Rhodes, over to Dusty Rhodes. Over to Rec, drives in, out to Darren Rhodes. Gene Studebaker in the middle now. He puts it up, and it's good for Gene Studebaker. There's another young man. He's only a freshman also.
Well, both of these teams very young. Ansonia, only 2 seniors on the squad. The rest are, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors.
Dusty Rhodes is whistled for the foul. That's his first and the team's second. Jack Steinke checks in for Ansonia, and for the Buccaneers, Dallas Burleson.
One thing you can guarantee, both of these teams are going to be right back possibly in this situation next year. Actually, they won't be because Covington, that game moves up to the first part of the schedule.
It's Adam Bargy to Brad McEldowney. He drives into the lane, out to Greg Wentworth. He thought about the three, thought wisely of it. Kevin Herod with it now. Over to McEldowney, inside to Adam Bargy. He puts it up. It's good by Adam Bargy. And I think he's the key for Ansonia tonight if they want to win this basketball game. But that's like all the games, too.
Well, you open the inside game up. You try to get it inside to open your outside game up.
And as Dusty Kimmel gets ready to check in for the Buccaneers, the one thing I was getting ready to say is with Kimmel not in there, that gave Adam Bargy free reign inside the middle of the paint. And that's stolen away by Greg Wentworth. And he moves it to Jack Steinke, who takes across half court, down to the wing, over to Wentworth in between the circles, over to Herod, inside to Adam Bargy, and they're going to call an offensive foul.
Again, that's the toughest call in high school and in any type of basketball.
And that's good for Buccaneer fans because Adam Bargy's sitting on the bench right now. That's going to help out also Dusty Kimmel.
Well, Tony Kesters and Jack Steinke and Brad McEldowney are going to have to step it up.
Jack plays like a big man because he can jump so high. That's Studebaker over to Kimmel, and he'll save it in to Darren Rhodes, over to Burleson, back over to Darren Rhodes. He gives the ball to Burleson. Burleson between the circles. Over to Gene Studebaker. Inside to McCord. He drives baseline. It rims out. The rebound is to Jack Steinke, and he'll move across half court. He doesn't have the number, so he'll give it up to Kevin Herod, the Tiger point guard. Herod in between the circles. Gives it up to Steinke. And he'll drive into the paint. He'll give it up to Herod. No one saw him there, but he cannot get it to fall. And out of bounds, it'll be off Kevin Herod.
That was a Beautiful pass by Steinke down to Herod. Just couldn't quite finish it.
That's a play that Kevin Herod needs to finish.
Yes. You get that kind of an open look, you've got to finish that.
You don't get too many easy baskets like that against Covington, or any team for that matter. Darren Rhodes looks for the three. He gives it up to Gene Studebaker inside McCord.
And this is a game where every possession is critical.
Darren Rhodes sinks the three. And the Buccaneers take a 2-point lead. Brad McEldowney drives into the lane. He puts it up. And it falls for Brad McEldowney.
He may be the spark that Ansonia needs right now.
Well, I know they only played him 1 quarter in the junior varsity game, so he's eligible for all 4 quarters tonight, but he didn't play in the first quarter, so that really doesn't matter. Studebaker inside to Kimmel. On out to Darren Rhodes for a deep three. It falls. He's a very good outside shooter. Darren Rhodes is. Herod to Steinke. Drives into the lane, and they're going to call a foul. I think it's going to be on Darren Rhodes.
Hand check. And that's one thing officials try to get control early with hand checks.
It's Darren Rhodes first and the team's third. Not so many fouls called so far. Tony Kesters has a look inside. Back out to Steinke. Gives up to Herod for 3, and they're going to call a foul, I believe, on Gene Studebaker. That's his first, and it'll be the team's 4th. Greg Wentworth will put the ball in the play for the Tigers. On out to McEldowney. Drives, gives it to Herod. Back to McEldowney. Inside, and that's tipped away by McCord.
That time, Bryant McEldowney made a freshman mistake, tried to put it someplace that really wasn't open.
That's McCord. And Dallas Burleson nails the 3 for Covington, and he's trying to get the fans into it. They are up 6 right now, 20-14. With 3:25 left to go in the first half, excuse me.
Adam Bargy getting ready to check in.
They need him to spark some inside play. As Wentworth takes the 3. Good for Greg Wentworth.
That's 2 in a row after he missed his first 2, and both of the first 2 that he made was down in and popped back out, but now he seems to have come to life.
The Bucks leads down to 3 with 3 minutes left to go. McCord drives in, and it's good for Matt McCord. Timeout called by Ansonia.
With 2:55, we'll take... We're back here at Ansonia, 22-17 the score, 2:55 remaining. And Nick, a great basketball game thus far.
Covington leads by 5 right now, but some shots fall here, some shots fall there, and for both teams too. Not too many fouls called. The officiating has been very good up to this point. I don't.
They're letting them play, but yet they're trying to keep control of it at the same time.
The Tigers lineup shows Fosnell, Wentworth, Steinke, Adam Bargy, and Brad McEldowney. For the Buccaneers will be Studebaker, Burleson, Darren Rhodes, Matt McCord, and Dusty Kimmel. Greg Wentworth brings across half court to Jack Steinke.
Looks like Covington in a man-to-man right now.
McEldowney to Adam Bargy to Fosnall. Over to McEldowney. Looks inside of Adam Bargy. Nothing doing there. Wentworth takes the 3. It's good for Greg Wentworth. And right now, Mark, he feels it right now.
He's hit rhythm right now. He's almost, I won't say he's in the zone, but he's pretty close. He feels it.
Burleson gives it up to Studebaker. Inside to McCord, and he's going to be fouled by Jack Steinke.
That was good anticipation by Steinke. He saw the pass coming in. He anticipated that, but just was a little behind in getting there. And getting back to Greg Wentworth, I think it was a smart move by Chad Kramer in taking him out briefly and then bringing him back in. Just kind of get him settled down, and get him back into the ball game.
Big game situation. You don't want him to square down as Studebaker leaves a three-pointer short, and Jack Steinke brings across half court. And saved back in bounds by Greg Wentworth. And a 10-second violation against the Tigers.
Covington fans want it over and back. It wasn't over and back because he hadn't gotten all three principals over yet. But when he flipped it back to Greg Wentworth, Wentworth wasn't ready for it, and it got past him. Maybe flipped it a little too hard, but the 10-second count was still on.
And if he would have maybe pushed the ball across half court, he might have gotten it in, but a lot of ifs. Burleson gives it to Studebaker. Inside of McCord, he puts it out to Darren Rhodes, and he drives baseline, and it's stolen away by Craig Fosnaugh, and he brings it across half court. Fosnaugh with it now, driving into the paint, and he's going to be tripped up by McCord.
I believe that's the 5th team foul.
That's his first and the team's 5th. Herod replaces McEldowney for the Tigers.
And what an effort by the freshman thus far.
And that's, I think, Brady Reck checking in. No, he's going to take a seat back down. Roger Kraft didn't want to send him in right now. Steinke with it. Over to Wentworth, looking inside for Adam Bargy, and it's tipped away by Dusty Kimmel. Tigers are going to put the ball on a bounce pass to Adam Bargy because Kimmel, he's got long arms, and he's reaching over Adam Bargy. Herod to Fosnaugh.
Well, they're ready for Greg Wentworth right now. They aren't taking any chances.
And Adam Bargy might have got shoved a little bit, but he's an inside post player. He's got to be used to that.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if he makes every shot, but
one thing I noticed, Covington's putting 3 guys on him every time he gets the ball. McCord out to Darren Rhodes. Over to Burleson. Back to Rhodes. And it's tipped off McCord's hand, and as a situation where Adam Bargy was in the right place at the right time, it just fell into his hands. Herod to Steinke. Steinke drives, finds Adam Bargy.
Great pass from Steinke to Bargy. Good interior passing.
It's like we talked about in the Houston game. You get wrapped up about Steinke driving, and then here comes Adam Bargy. And even though he's a big guy, no one sees him coming. Burleson. That's Darren Rhodes with it. He'll put it up, and it's rebounded by Studebaker and put back in. And at the half mark, momentum shifting back towards Covington going into the half.
To a certain extent, they get the tip in, but still, I still feel like the momentum is with Ansonia. It's kind of in limbo, really, kind of going back and forth, but I still feel like momentum kind of is still with Ansonia. 24-22 the score. We've completed 2 quarters of play. And welcome back to Ansonia. Covington leading the Tigers 24-22. And Nick, this is what the cross-county conference championship game should be. A 2-point ball game. It's been back and forth, and that's just the way it should be.
No one's really seized control of the game. It's going back and forth. Wentworth will come down, nail a 3. Then Darren Rhodes will come back and answer him right back, and it's only a 2-point ball game right now.
Well, in fact, Covington jumped out to the 20-14 lead. They have the biggest lead of the game thus far at 6 points, but Ansonia came roaring back and tied it at 22. But a last-second shot gave the Bucks the 2-point lead.
One bad thing for Ansonia is they haven't been able to seem to box out. They are being, and this is one of the few games I've seen where Ansonia's getting out rebounds, and it's not that Covington is bigger than them, because they're actually smaller than them, and they're a very athletic team. But Ansonia, especially Adam Bargy, Steinke, those guys underneath the basket on that 2-3 zone, they're going to need to find a body, because even though it's a long rebound, there should be Wentworth or Fosnaugh out there to pick up that ball.
Well, one thing with the matchup zone, they're getting it Ansonia, the players are down tight. They're bunching in down toward the bottom of the post, down toward the bottom of the lane. And then Covington will fire up a three. They'll pop it back out for the three-pointer, and it'll be a long rebound, and the Bucks get the rebound.
And that's one thing that's been helping out Covington. They've been good on the offensive glass. That one basket by Studebaker was amazing, where he got up into the air and tipped it back in. And so it's been a pretty good half for Covington, but also a pretty good half for Ansonia.
Well, let's take a look at the unofficial scoring. I'll take a look at Ansonia's here in the first half. Craig Fosnall with 3. Brad McEldowney coming in off the bench. Great effort, 4 points. Adam Bargy with a tough 6 points. And leading the way for the Tigers, and boy, did he get on track from three-point land. After missing his first 2 threes where they were down in and popped back out, Greg Wentworth leading the way for the Tigers with 9 points.
And there's 2 missing names from that scoring column that should be there. Kevin Harrod and Jack Steinke. Those 2 are going to have to make buckets in order for Ansonia to win this game.
For the Covington Buccaneers, Dallas Burleson with 3 points, Gene Studebaker with 4, Matt McCord with 4, Dusty Kimmel with 4, and leading the way for the Bucks, a sophomore, Darren Rhodes. He has 9 points.
He shoots very well from the outside, and him and Wentworth have been dueling because they both have 3 three-pointers. And it'll come down, I think, to the inside games, and I think Covington needs McCord to push her a little more. He averages coming into this game around 17. He's down to 4, and I know Ansonia is liking that. But also, for Covington, they got to be loving that Kevin Harrod and Jack Steinke have not scored, and he does have 6, but that's very good to hold Adam Bargy to 6 points in the first half.
Both of these teams, as we said, 10-0 in the cross-county conference this year. Ansonia 17-2. Covington, on the other hand, 12-7. They're 2-7 in their non-league games. The Tigers, on the other hand, are 7-2 in non-league play. And when you look at the 2 schedules, and we went to the CCC basketball website and looked at the pulled down the schedules for both teams, and comparing them, I would say they're relatively close, but I would have to give the edge, very slight edge, to the Covington Bucks as far as the competition in those non-league games.
What hurts Ansonia is big rivals with Mississinawa Valley. They play them twice in the year. That one's a non-conference battle. And Covington plays, I think, Miami East, we figured out, to be a game that's probably sends them over.
That sways it in their favor. Exactly.
So both teams play pretty good schedules. Both teams play Versailles, and Covington played them at Versailles and lost.
Ansonia played them at Versailles.
That's right.
Covington played them at home. And Ansonia actually gave them a better game at Versailles than Covington did at home.
And that's surprising because it is harder to play at Versailles with the fans sitting down the one end zone like that.
Well, again, the halftime score here at Ansonia, it's Covington 24, Ansonia 22. We'll be back with the third quarter of play in just a moment. We welcome you back to Ansonia as we are just about ready to wrap up halftime. And folks, fans are on their feet.
It's a shame they're not seeing this live.
Absolutely. Covington with possession to start this second half. With it is number 15, Dusty Rhodes. Studebaker gives the ball off to McCord. Rhodes, as it's deflected out of bounds, Brian McEldowney in the starting lineup for the Tigers. For Ansonia, it's Harrod, Wentworth, McEldowney, Bargy, and Steinke. For Covington, it is McCord, Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, and Dusty Rhodes.
Darren Rhodes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Gene Studebaker, as well as Dusty Kimmel. Steinke, nice give to McEldowney for 2.
That's a nice basket by Brian McEldowney to get down.
Nice way to fill the lanes. That's textbook. Dusty Rhodes brings it out as he'll set the offense up. We've played just about a minute here in this third quarter. We're tied at 24. Inside, McCord gets it all alone, and
that's a good
Adam Bargy couldn't really do anything, or he'd pick up number 3.
That was a good job by McCord to wait for the Tiger defenders to jump over him and then go ahead and put it in.
McEldowney gives it off to Steinke, and that's one thing that the Tigers they need to do more of, and that's penetrate the lane and dish it off. Wentworth with it inside. Herod out for 3. Does not go. The rebound and a reach in, and it's going to be on Wentworth as he kind of a late call, but I think the right one. Wentworth doesn't agree with it, but.
And no one is ever going to agree, no matter what call it is, with a late call. No one's ever going to agree with that.
I think what they were waiting for was to see how the play developed. And it ends up, and I hate what the Tiger fans just cheered. Being an Ansonia fan, I just totally hate that cheer. The nuts and bolt cheer. And a whistle as McCord is called for traveling.
Well, that one's a lot better than some that I've seen.
That cheer?
Yes.
Oh, I understand, but to me, that you need to show more class and more sportsmanship. Herod with it out top as we're at the 6-minute mark. Covington leading it by a deuce, 26-24. Herod to Wentworth, looking inside. They get it down to Bargy, and that time a whistle is going to go on
Dusty Kimball.
42, Dusty Kimball. Darryl Ripple saying 24, and I'm like, wait a second, 24's not in the game. Nice pass into Bargy. It's going to be before the shot.
That's going to be on
and
Kimmel,
that's going to be on Kimmel, so 2 quick fouls against Dusty Kimmel.
And that's very good for Ansonia Tiger fans. That's his 3rd. And that's going to sit him down on the bench, and JV player Nick Meyer is going to check in to replace him.
And you can tell that's one thing Chad Kramer has probably talked about at halftime was we need to get it inside to Adam Bargy. Wentworth takes the inbounds pass to Herod. Herod to McEldowney. They're looking inside, and I tell you what, Nick Meyer, you better watch it. He's grabbing shirt, and he's going to get a foul. McEldowney saves it in, but Dusty Rhodes comes up with the loose ball. He's being hounded by Herod. As with it is Darren Rhodes.
Tempers are flaring out there already.
And a travel is going to be called on McCord.
Well, if you notice on a lot of Ansonia's victories, 17 of them, Adam Bargy scores a lot of points. And the 2 games that they didn't win, he was in single digits.
Herod looks inside. McEldowney gets it out between the circles. Back to Herod. Herod looks to drive. The runner in the lane cannot get it to go. The rebound is to Studebaker. He doesn't have the numbers, so he'll pull it back out. All of a sudden, a little burst inside and goes in uncontested. And Covington's lead is back to 4 at 28-24. Steinke. Wentworth to Herod, to McEldowney, back to Herod inside. Underneath, through Bargy's hands, and that's what Bargy's got to be ready for that pass.
Ansonia really needed a bucket there. Trying to break some of the momentum that Covington has right now.
McCord, the runner in the lane, gets it to drop. That matches the biggest lead, 30-24 for Covington. A 6-point lead with 4:20 remaining. Wentworth gives the ball to Steinke. Steinke to Wentworth. McEldowney. Wentworth. Herod looks to drive. Steinke gets it back. Steinke in the lane, and he cannot get it. Tried to get his own rebound, and Meyer is going to be called for the foul inside. Steinke did a nice job of getting inside position after missing his shot. 4:02 remaining. Ansonia with possession as Craig Fosnall checks in, replacing Herod.
We've talked about Jack Steinke's jump stop. McCord had a pretty good jump stop himself.
Wentworth to Fosnall.
A lot of elbows being thrown out there by Covington players off the screens.
Steinke with the reach in here, Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is calling the foul.
15, Dusty Rhodes is second, team's fourth.
Still a 6-point lead as Wentworth will trigger it in for the Tigers. Steinke takes the pass. They're doubling down on Adam Bargy. That's where you got to penetrate. As Steinke gets his first two.
That's good for Jack to break the ice for himself.
30-26, 3.5 minutes remaining. He was held scoreless for 2.5 quarters.
Not very many teams. I don't think any team's probably done that so far this year.
Studebaker in some trouble. Skip pass to Dusty Rhodes underneath. McCord in some trouble, has it blocked, and it'll stay with Covington. .3:15 remains.
One thing I've noticed when McCord gets the ball inside, he's got to look for some of his teammates to get open because he's in there, he's in trouble, and he's just throwing up a shot, and Bargy blocked it away.
They're doing the same thing to what Ansonia's doing to Covington. Covington's doing to Ansonia. As Fosnall with the steal, tries to save it back in. McCord, he leaves it short. Meyer is going to be called for going over top. Good box out by Herod that time. Covington fans don't like the call, but he clearly went over the top of I knew I was going to say that, of Kevin Herod.
And they're going to call that foul every time. Over the back, I think it's one of the most common fouls in basketball, in high school basketball.
Because when the defensive player is backing in and is boxing out, and the defensive player goes over his top, that doesn't give the defensive player the chance to rebound. Steinke from the wing can't get it to go. Gets his own rebound up, strong with it, count it.
And that's one of those situations that's so good that Jack Steinke can jump, because he jumped over the Covington defender's hand to put that in, and he got hacked on his way up, and Steinke has a chance to pull it within one.
And right now, Roger Kraft in a little bit of a situation, both of his big men with 3 fouls.
And they're going to let Nick Meyer play because he's expendable, if you will, as Steinke nails the free throw. And I believe that's the first free throw of the game.
Yes, it is. That is exactly the first free throw of the game.
And that is unusual. You never see that.
A 1-point game. McCord on a 3-on-2. The leaner. Steinke grabs the rebound.
And McCord is grabbing Steinke's foot. The referee won't call a foul. I disagree with that.
Herod lays it in for 2.
And Ansonia's excited right now, and the fans are into it. And Roger Kraft takes a very smart timeout right here.
2:27 remaining. Ansonia has taken the lead here, 31-30. Back here at Ansonia, the Tigers have retaken the lead, 31-30. And they're on a 7-0 run right now.
Somebody's going to need a bucket right now.
They finally get it over as Dusty Rhodes. A whistle and a reach-in. Fosnall is going to be guilty of that foul.
Greg Fosnall, his first, team second.
That is the team's second. Fosnall's first. 2:14 remains. Ansonia leading it by a point right now, 31-30. Studebaker with it on the wing, looks inside. Nothing there as they get it out top to Darren Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes, high post, it goes to McCord. McCord looks to drive, puts the runner up, and Bargy's going to be called for the foul. And they say they got him with the body, and I would agree with that.
It looked like his body was away from him, but right when the shot was put up,
with the arm.
Yep.
He kind of pushed off with his arm, and that's what got him caught. McCord can't get that free throw to drop.
Substitution number 40, Tony Kesters. Buccaneers substitution number 12, Dallas Burleson.
Good move, Tony Kesters coming in to replace Adam Bargy.
You know, he doesn't need to pick up his fourth right now.
The second free throw by McCord goes, and we're tied at 31. Under 2 minutes left here in this third quarter of play. Fosnall Gets it to Jason Bargy in the ballgame for Ansonia. Bosnall gets it back. He's had a couple of threes. Actually, 1 3.
He's taking a couple attempts, though.
Steinke throws it up, but he's going to be called for traveling. He couldn't get that second foot down, and that's what got him caught for the travel.
Number 24, Brad McEldown.
A little smaller lineup in for the Tigers now.
1:40 remains. Covington has led at all quarter stops, but it's been close. McEldowney in the ball game. McCord loses it. Meyer touches it, and it'll be Ansonia basketball.
Meyer's only a sophomore, and you can tell that was a mistake by him. He probably hasn't been in too many big game situations like this game here tonight.
Greg Wentworth, he's been shut out here in the third quarter. Steinke. Out near the center line. He'll bring it back. Wentworth to McEldowney. Looks to drive. Nothing there. Wentworth thought about the 3. Gets it back out. Herod drives down the lane. Nice pass to Kesters. Kesters gets the basket.
And that is Ansonia's wild card right there. Tony Kesters and Jason Bargy. That's the wild card for them.
33-31, under a minute, under 50 seconds. Ansonia by a deuce. Dallas Burleson. Kind of extending out the matchup zone.
Crowd noise is starting to increase here in Ansonia.
Burleson. Under 20 seconds, and it's pretty evident Covington is going to go for the last shot. If I'd be Ansonia, I'd pack it in. Make them force the action.
And they're going to go after it now with 10 seconds left.
The three-pointer does not go. Loose on the floor. Steinke on a breakaway. 2 seconds. He lays it up for 2. Count it.
And I know right there he was looking for a dunk. I do believe he was looking for a dunk right there.
35-31 at the end of 3 quarters. Ansonia leading this by 4 over Covington. We're back here at Ansonia, and guess what? You can tell Mighty Mo is in Ansonia's favor right now. They will start with possession this final quarter of play.
This is going to be one of the wildest quarters I've ever seen in CCC basketball.
Well, it's all on the line right here. The winner will take home the hardware from the CCC. The loser will go home as the second-place team in the cross-county conference for the year. 35-31, Ansonia by 4. McEldowney open for the 3. Got it!
Big shot by the freshman. He's had a great game for Ansonia off the bench. And look how intense the Tigers are right now. 38-31,
a 7-point lead. That's the biggest lead of the night by either team.
And Covington has to get something going right here, or Ansonia's going to start to pull away.
McCord gets it out to Burleson from downtown. A little too strong. Steinke with the rebound on a breakaway. A 2-on-1. He takes it in, lays it up. Oh, my. An offensive foul. And I normally do not disagree with an offensive foul call. I totally disagree with that one.
That player was moving. It was clear he was moving. That is a disappointing call by the official.
And the reason I disagree with it is Steinke was in the air when the defensive player finished sliding in.
I disagree with that call, but what are you going to do about it?
But the official is who that matters, and he made the charging call. Burleson. They had McCord underneath all alone, and a whistle and a pushing foul. It's going to be on Wentworth.
It's the old rule. Rule number 1, the referee is always right. Rule number 2, if they're wrong, refer to rule number 1.
That's exactly right, and the same with the coach.
So a lot of high-up people.
Wentworth picking up his second foul. The team's 5th.
And intercepted by Wentworth, and he's got Harrod on a breakaway.
Harrod lays it in for 2.
And that gives Ansonia a 9-point lead.
6:37 remains. Ansonia fans on their feet here tonight. Ansonia 40, Covington 31.
And welcome back to Ansonia. With 6:37 left to go in this final quarter of play for the CCC Championship, Ansonia leads by 9, 40-31.
And that's the biggest lead of the night by either team.
And in the words of Dick Vitale, Uncle Mo is on the side of Ansonia.
Absolutely, and there's no question.
You can tell just by looking at it. Ansonia fans on their feet, chanting defense, and Covington's fans are sitting in awe thinking, what have we done with this lead we had?
Darren Rhodes to Studebaker. Inside it goes to Kimmel. Kimmel puts it up. He is fouled, and Steinke is going to be called. The underneath official making that call, and the only problem I have with that, I think it was the right call, but the only problem I have with that is the underneath official can't see whether he made contact or not.
It looked like Steinke was set. He didn't like the call. Tigers fans don't like the call, but nonetheless, Dusty Kimmel goes to the line to shoot a pair. This is only Covington's second trip to the charity stripe.
First free throw is good. Makes it an 8-point game at 40-32. Second one is on the way, and it bounces high. Steinke goes high for the rebound.
I think if you look at here, Mark, the whole town of Ansonia's here.
I think they've rolled up the sidewalks. Underneath, McEldowney for 2. What a pass from Harrod.
Wow, 11 points for a freshman and the biggest game of his career. Very young career, might I add. And that's stolen away. And they're going to call foul on Matt McCord.
And that is his second.
And not only is that just a foul, it's a bonus foul now. And Greg Wentworth, one of Ansonia's better free throw shooters, knock on wood, is going to the stripe.
Well, I think they've rolled up the sidewalks here at Ansonia, and everybody's here at the middle school. You can tell I'm old school.
The local schools.
The Ansonia schools, but this will always be the middle school. At least to me.
I went to middle school here.
Free throw is good.
And that gives Ansonia an 11-point lead, and Covington has to start getting something together here, or this is going to be a long quarter for them, a quarter they're going to regret.
5:59 remains. Second free throw is also good. 12-point lead, 44-32 for the Tigers.
You might be wrong about that 50-point thing.
I may be right,
Tigers.
may be wrong, exactly.
You never know. If Darren Rhodes gets hot from the three-point land.
Ansonia, though, averaging about 58 points a game, but they're giving up only about 42 or 43.
I think their average win was 11 or 12.
I didn't pull that down off of the CCC line as McEldowney grabs the rebound off of the miss. Harrod looks to drive the lane. He'll bring it back out.
Now, right now, do you play for points or do you take a little time off?
I think you do for both, as a blocking foul is going to be called.
And that's the right call. Gene Studebaker was moving with Steinke the whole time, and at the last second, he tried to set up, put his arms up in the air. The referee didn't buy it.
It was borderline. I have to say, it was a borderline call. Could have went either way, but
it's one of those you give a little, you get a little. They called the charge on Steinke. They're going to call the block here.
Steinke making his second trip to the plate, or the
and a good positive for the. The good positive for the Tigers is they're making their free throws. They have struggled from the line so far this year.
Well, this is where you're going to win the ball game from.
Steinke nails both, and it's up to a 14-point lead with 5:15 left to go here in the final quarter of play.
They have shot 5 free throws, and guess what?
They've made all 5.
They have made all 5. The lead is 14. Kimmel inside, the fadeaway, bounces around, doesn't go. And right now, Ansonia dominating the defensive horn as Bargy had a good look but couldn't get it. And now he's going to be called for an excuse me, or is it going to be Wentworth?
It's going to be Wentworth.
Number 10, Greg Wentworth is third.
The big three for Ansonia, Wentworth, Steinke, and Adam Bargy, all with 3 fouls right now.
Wow, Adam Bargy got a great look, and boy, that would have been huge. That would have given Ansonia a 16-point lead.
And now Matt McCord goes to the line, and he shoots 1 in bonus.
1 of 2, didn't get that to go. The rebound to Steinke.
And they're going to call down Dusty Kimmel. And he doesn't agree with the foul, but the reason why I think they called the foul, which is his 4th foul, is because after Steinke got the rebound, he kind of reached around on him, and they're going to call that.
They're going to get that called. You're exactly right. Steinke back at the free throw line, still the 1 and 1, but from here on out, the double bonus will be in effect, as that is just the 9th.
The old toilet bowl falls down for the first free throw.
I thought my jinx was going to take effect.
You do that a lot, you know.
I learned from Alex Warner and Ty House.
Ansonia perfect from the stripe. And they take a 16-point lead with 4:45 left to go.
Underneath, check that. That goes through, and no, that doesn't count. It's got to go through from the top first.
One thing I've noticed about Covington, they're just going down the court and just throwing something up.
They're panicking.
I think Coach Roger Kraft needs to call a timeout. Get his boys settled down.
Inside, Bargy, the hook. Count it!
And right now, nothing is going in the way of Covington. Nothing at all. And that's 5 for Dusty Kimmel, and that puts that Covington at more of a disadvantage for the rest of this ball game. And they're going to put in, I think that's Darren Rhodes.
An 18-point lead with 4:23 remaining. I thought Coach Kraft was going to take a timeout here, but apparently deciding not.
And Ansonia doing the overrated chant. I don't agree with this. Covington is a very good basketball team. They have just struggled in this 4th quarter. And
kind of the way Ansonia struggled through most of the 1st quarter.
A high for Ansonia is they came out of the half good, and that's been a notorious bad quarter for them.
Bargy gets the free throw.
And like I said, nothing is going in the way of Covington.
51-32, and one thing, Ansonia being 17-2, have not gotten the respect statewide. As a steal, they get it to Harrod on a breakaway, lays it up for 2 more. That's a foul is going to be called, and I think it's going to be McEldowney.
That's correct, and that'll be a 1 in bonus. Who's going to the line? It'll be Matt McCord.
But boy, what an effort by Brad McEldowney here, coming in, playing in the JV game for only a quarter, but coming in here tonight as McCord gets that free throw to drop.
I was talking to you before the game when we went out to eat, and I said 58-51. The Tigers have 53, and Covington has 33 right now. I did not expect this to be a 20-point game at any point in the game. And a big ovation for Brad McEldowney, who came out of the game. Jason Bargy went in for the Tigers. A well-deserved round of applause for that young man. He has a bright career ahead of him.
4:01 as McCord gets the second free throw to drop as well. And Covington slapping on some full court pressure.
Tigers have numbers.
3-on-2. Steinke goes up with it. He is hammered.
That's one of the situations where the coach tells you, if you're going to get your fouls on a player like that, on a play like that, make sure they do not make the basket. And that's what McCord did right there. He made sure that Steinke didn't make the basket.
Studebaker picking up his 3rd foul. Steinke getting the 2 free throws as the double bonus is in effect and gets the free throw.
Where are they now?
Incredible.
What are they now? 6
We'll
for
wait.
6? 7 for 7?
We'll wait.
Okay.
9 for 9 from the free throw line. Steinke 7 for 7. Actually 10 for 10.
And they're going to whistle a foul on Kevin Harrod. That's a good call. He took a step back.
Number 12, Kevin Harrod, his first, team's 9th.
And we talked about Jack Steinke not scoring at all and him being a big factor while the Tigers are down. He has 13 right now. Greg Wentworth with 11. A great game for the senior here on senior night. Kevin Harrod was 6.
They've come alive here in the second half.
They have a 21-point lead.
Loose ball as Covington cannot hang on to it, and boy, that tells it all right there. Steinke looked like he's going to get the rebound, couldn't quite come up with it. Then it looks like Covington's going to get it, and it goes out of bounds.
It looks like Covington's going for a foul. I don't know. Wentworth drives in.
Steinke for 3, does not get it, and it's batted back in. A real foul, and let's see who it's going to be on. As Studebaker is hurt, Steinke is slow getting up as well.
I think they're going to call it on. They're going to call that on Jack Steinke.
Tiger battle 20, Jack Steinke, his 4th, team's 10th.
And Coach Roger Kraft basically told Chad Kramer right there he doesn't like the way his team is playing right now. And I don't think Steinke was going after the ball. These guys are playing with intensity out there.
He was trying to save it and tip it to his own player.
These guys are playing with intensity. He's not out there to hurt anyone. These guys aren't like that from either team. It's been very good tonight the way both teams have showed great sportsmanship, and they haven't got to let this game get out of hand because it very well could have.
Studebaker got the first free throw to go. He'll get the second as both teams are in the double bonus.
It's a good game by the freshman with 8 points so far.
55-36, a 19-point lead as Steinke gets it back to Harrod as he'll get it into the front court. Wentworth looks to go baseline, nothing there. Bargy, nice spin move, puts it up, does not get it to go. And a steal reach in, Steinke. Oh, looked like that was pretty clean.
That was
Jack Steinke, that's his 5th and final foul.
And Jack Steinke will get an ovation. What a game. He took total control in the third quarter on the glass.
Covington fans are happy to see Steinke go, but with 3:15 left, it's going to be hard for them to come back from 19 points because now they put in Craig Bosnoff, who's another good shooter, and then you also got Brad Malcolm down there on the bench. And that has been the story of Covington's game tonight. They just hasn't been going their way in this half, I should say.
Brady Reck couldn't get that free throw to drop. A 19-point lead. That free throw does go, and he makes it an 18-point ball game. Harrod down to Bargy, and it's tipped out of bounds. It'll remain Tiger basketball. Good call. He got it pretty clean.
That could have been a reach-in foul, but
could have. But I don't think you call that.
That's a close call again.
Harrod looks to drive in the lane. Nice pass to Bargy for 2.
And now with Jack Steinke out of the game, they're going to have to rely more on Adam Bargy to score points.
Burleson gets the bounce.
And that's one thing that Covington can't do. They cannot trade baskets with Ansonia because that's not going to catch you up at all.
You're right. Oh, Wentworth had a good look at a 3, decided to pass it up.
And that's a smart decision by the senior. He knows that he does not need a 3 right now. They're trying to waste a little clock right here with 2.5 left to go in the game. Wentworth drives, and he's going to be...
And Rhodes is going to be called for the reach-in. That's Darren Rhodes.
Darren Rhodes is second.
2.5 minutes remain as Wentworth will be back at the charity stripe getting the 2 free throws. What a second half by Ansonia.
Will they stay perfect at the line? They do.
Incredible.
And we've talked about it before. Free throws win you games.
Free throws and defense.
And that's 2 of Ansonia's tonight strong
points tonight, exactly. Second free throw. That's the first free throw missed by Ansonia. And it's off of Ansonia. It'll be Covington basketball.
It looked like Jason Bargy might have got a finger on that.
And a reach in. Fosnaugh is going to be guilty of that as Darren Rhodes will go to the free throw line. And that's one thing, Chad Kramer, even with a 19-point lead, that's got to drive him nuts.
You can't just keep sending guys to the line because they can catch up like that.
Exactly. I can remember 1983, the same year that Ansonia beat or lost the National Trail for the CCC Championship right here. Mississinewa had a 9-point lead with 35 seconds remaining as Darren Rhodes got that free throw to drop. Guess who won the ball game by 1?
Who?
Ansonia.
There you go.
Simply because Mississinewa kept fouling, and Ansonia would go to the free throw line and make it. Ansonia would foul Mississinewa, send the Blackhawks to the free throw line as Herod is called for over carrying the ball. Ansonia would send the Blackhawks to the free throw line, and Mississinewa would miss.
I agree with this move right here. Take Adam Bargy out at 2:09, send him back in with a minute left, I would say, probably around and about. And then he's fresh, and he's able to, he's big defense underneath the basket.
2:09, as Nick said, is what is left here in this final quarter of play. Ansonia leading it by 18, but Covington has the ball.
But one thing you got to notice on the court right now is Matt McCord is not there, and he's their leading scorer. I don't know if something's going on with him and the coach, but he's not on the floor. Dallas Burleson misses the shot.
Fosnaugh with the rebound as Herod will push it into the front court. One thing, you just want to take some time off the clock. As Brad McEldowney will check in, and Dallas Burleson picks up the foul. And Kevin Herod will make his first trip to the free throw line.
I'm not saying anything.
Free throw does not go.
First one of the night.
Second. Wentworth missed one.
Who?
His last free throw. They've missed 2 in a row now.
Oh.
And number 40, Corey Sprinkle.
And Covington's spending some of the JV players. Is the coach laying down right now, or?
Well, with a minute 50 and an 18-point difference, it's going to be difficult. Second free throw does not go.
Title.
Richard Cannon.
Title.
Well, I mean,
you don't want to get your boys banged up for the tournaments, I guess.
You know, that season counts more than the CCC championship when you're down by 18 in that game.
It's Brady Reck. He makes his, that's his first basket of the night.
And one thing, these young men are fresh. Wentworth, nice pass to Kesters for 2. 60-42. Burleson gives the ball off to Cannon. Cannon tries to tip it down, and it is knocked out of bounds by Bargy as he tried to get it down to number 40, I believe, as that is Corey Sprinkle.
Also in the lineup, number 22, Andrew Ripple.
Andrew Ripple and Brad McEldowney.
Good game for Greg Wentworth, and Jason Bargy had a good defensive game tonight. He was held scoreless, but he had a good defensive game.
Sprinkle puts it up and gets the basket.
Corey Sprinkle. And
it's a 16-point game as Ripple takes the inbounds pass. He gets it into the front court as we are under a minute. And, folks, Ansonia will finish the year at 18-2. Covington will wrap up the year at 12-8. Ansonia will win the cross-county conference 11-0. Covington will fall to 10-1. And I like what Coach Kraft is doing. He's not telling his kids to foul. He's saying play aggressive defense. If you foul, but don't force the foul.
Great game by both teams. My hat's off to both teams. Excellent effort.
Herod with it out front, and a 5-second count as the turnover with 18 seconds remaining gives the ball back to the Buccaneers.
Number 23, Michael Gilmore.
But a game in the first half
And
relatively even. Ansonia coming out and dominating the second half.
And Mark, if you look down the corner, they got the ladder out. They're going to cut down the net.
Cannon couldn't get it to go. The rebound is lost out of bounds. Number 23, I do not have a 23.
That's Gilmore. His last name's Gilmore. I don't know his first name.
Who is it?
Gilmore is his last name.
And that is it.
Ansonia are the CCC champs of the 2003-2004 season, and look at the fans go crazy.
2004 Cross-County Conference champions, the Ansonia Tigers. Let's give a big round of applause to the Covington Buccaneers. They had a fine season, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause for the Buccaneers from Covington.
As you hear Darryl Ripple saying congratulations to the Buccaneers of Covington. It was a great effort, a great season. They finished the year 12-8 and 10-1 in the CCC. Ansonia finishes at 18-2 and 11-0 in the CCC, and I believe it's Ansonia's first CCC championship since the 93-94 basketball season.
Back then they had Jason Hemrick, Seth Young, Adam Smith, Jason Schrader, guys like Brent Bickle, good basketball team.
A great basketball team, but oddly enough, that team went farther. They got to the regional semifinals than the previous year, which may have been an even better basketball team. The 92-93 basketball season, a team that lost to Fort Laramie in the districts by, I think it was 2 points, if I'm not mistaken, as they are cutting the net down.
Senior Jason Barger taking the first snip.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here at Ansonia in just a moment. And we're back here at Ansonia's right now. The Tigers are cutting down the net, and let's go ahead and listen to the crowd.
T-shirts that you see the players and the coaches wearing, they are for sale. They're taking orders for those. See an athletic booster member, and they are going to be purchasing these cross-county conference championship T-shirts. The last time the Tigers won a basketball championship was exactly 10 years ago. In 1993 and 94, they shared a championship with the Twin Valley South Panthers.
And we're back here at Ansonia, and Coach, congratulations, a great win tonight. CCC champion 60-44 over Covington.
I tell you what, we struggled for about 2.5 quarters figuring out what they were doing defensively. They had a great game plan against Jack and Adam, and it took us a little while to figure out what they were doing. And when the boys decided they were going to attack, some good things happened offensively.
Well, third quarter, Jack Steinke held scoreless through basically 2.5, but he just took control in the third quarter himself, and then Adam coming on board too, and Greg Wentworth hit 3 big threes in the second quarter that really kept you in the game.
We challenged Adam and Jack at halftime. I mean, they were better players than what they were showing in the first half, and for you to win a big game, your big players have to step up. And I think Jack realized that and really took charge in the second half.
Again, congratulations, a great win, and something Ansonia's been deserving, and Ansonia's back.
Okay, thank you.
Again, the final score here is Ansonia pulling out a 60-44 win over the Covington Bucks to take the CCC championship. And Nick, just a great effort in the second half.
What really helped in the second half was Jack Steinke started scoring points for Ansonia, and I'd said at halftime that was going to be a key for Ansonia to start moving. The final points, Craig Fossil ended up with 3. Greg Wentworth on senior night, great game, 12 points. Kevin Harrod came back with 6. Jack Steinke had 13 after being shut out in the first half, a great half for him. Brad McInerney, the freshman, 11 points, outstanding effort. Tony Kesters with 4, and the big guy Adam Barchi with 10.
For the Covington Bucks, Dallas Burleson with 3, Gene Studebaker 4. Check that, wrong side. Brady Reck with 3, Dallas Burleson 5, Gene Studebaker 8, Darren Rhodes 10, Corey Sprankle 2, Dusty Kimmel 5, and leading the way, Matt McCord with 11 points. And McCord really a great second half, getting 7 points to lead the way for the Bucks.
And that was one of the keys for Ansonia. They knew if the McCord was going to get some points, but their key is they try to keep everyone else silent. Darren Rhodes had an excellent first half and cooled off a lot towards the second half.
Big key for Ansonia, Brad McEldowney. Wow, what a game.
That young man has a very bright future for Ansonia. With him and Steinke next year, they lose Greg Wentworth and Jason Bargy, which are 2 losses because they're good team captains, had good presence on the court. But if McDowney can move into that spot, they got a couple fellows on JV that are good too. Andy Haddishell can come back, and JP Beckley, also 2 young guys for Ansonia. Their juniors going to move up to seniors. This should be a great season next year also for Ansonia, and they should have a shot at retaining their title.
Once again, the final score, we'll get to that in just a moment, but Ansonia finishes the year 18-2, 11-0 in the cross-county conference. The Buccaneers wrap up their year at 12-8 and 10-1 in the CCC. The final score here again from Ansonia, the Tigers of Ansonia 64, the Covington Buccaneers 44. For Nick Hahn and Matt Mestemaker on camera tonight, I'm Mark Bixler. Until next time, so long everybody.